Right now in your living room, there may be invisible blockages, quietly draining your money, your luck, and even your peace of mind. But here's the good news. There is also a simple object, an ancient Feng Shui secret that can completely shift this energy and turn your living room into a magnet for abundance. And today, I'll show you how. Think of your living room as the energetic heart of your home. It's where life flows, where conversations happen, and where prosperity should circulate freely. But here's the surprising part. In most homes, this flow is interrupted. Hidden blockages silently weaken abundance day after day, without anyone realizing. In this video, you're going to learn the 6 most common obstacles that block prosperity in the living room and how to remove them. And stay with me until the end, because I'll reveal a powerful Feng Shui secret, rarely shared, that can transform your space into a true magnet for wealth, stability, and new opportunities. Before we continue, write in the comments, "My living room is a magnet for abundance." Writing it down not only strengthens your intention, it also activates positive energy from this very moment. And if you're already enjoying this topic, give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss the next secrets I'll be sharing with you. Also, share this video with someone you care about, because without realizing it, their living room may be blocking prosperity, and this knowledge could make a big difference in their lives. Before I reveal what this special object is, let's take a look at why the living room, which seems like such an ordinary space, is actually the energetic heart of your home, and how it could be affecting your finances, your luck, and your family's harmony. The living room is much more than a space to watch TV or receive visitors. In Feng Shui, it is considered the energetic heart of the home, the point where the energies of all who live there and all who enter from outside come together. It is, in a way, your home's letter of introduction to the world. And the most interesting thing is that its condition is a direct reflection of your life. When the space is filled with harmony, order, and good energy, prosperity flows naturally. Opportunities appear and family life feels lighter. But when it's filled with unsuitable objects or heavy vibrations, little by little, it begins to block your abundance and luck, attract worries, and generate family tensions that affect both your finances and the peace of your home. That's why Feng Shui masters have always insisted on treating this place as a space of honor, because the energy radiated from the living room ultimately permeates the rest of the house and every aspect of family life. Every piece of furniture, every object, and every detail plays a crucial role in maintaining balance, because it is in that harmony where much of your luck, financial stability, and family peace is born. And what's surprising is that many times the blockages are right in front of us, in things that seem harmless. That's why I want to share with you the story of someone who experienced these blockages in her own living room, and how she managed to overcome them thanks to the wisdom of Feng Shui. Tara had always felt proud of her home. It was a simple place, but full of memories. However, in recent years, something had changed. Every time her children and grandchildren gathered in the living room, the conversations that used to be filled with laughter ended in meaningless arguments. The atmosphere grew heavy, and Matilda quietly felt that the joy of being together as a family was fading. On top of that came another worry. Money seemed to slip through her fingers like water. Her pension or any extra income always disappeared into unexpected expenses, leaving her uneasy. One day, at a community gathering, she met a Feng Shui teacher who spoke about the importance of the living room. With a calm voice, she explained that this space didn't just reflect prosperity, but also family unity. Then she shared a phrase that engraved itself in Tara's heart. If the energy of your living room is blocked, not only does money stagnate, but the peace within your family also begins to break apart. Those words described exactly what Tara was experiencing at home. The teacher agreed to visit her house, and upon entering the living room, she remained silent for a while. She walked slowly, observing every detail, until she looked into Tara's eyes and said, "Here, there are several elements acting as invisible barriers. They're such everyday things that you pass by them every day without noticing, but they are draining your abundance and your peace." With that single phrase, Tara felt a knot in her throat. She had never thought that such common objects could carry so much weight in daily life. She realized she needed to make changes, and though at first it was hard to accept the idea, she decided to trust the teacher's guidance. Little by little, she began to notice a difference. Family gatherings became lighter. Laughter returned to her living room, and at the same time she began to feel that her money stretched further, as if the doors of abundance had started opening again. It was then that she understood her living room was much more than just a space with furniture. It was the heart of her home. And by keeping it in harmony, both prosperity and family unity could flourish together. Tara's experience reminds us of something very powerful. Many times the blockages are right in front of our eyes, hidden in everyday objects and details in the living room. But when they remain there for years, they end up affecting both our finances and family harmony. And the most surprising part is that this isn't something rare. It's 6 very common obstacles present in most living rooms, silently draining our prosperity little by little. Now is the time to get to know them one by one so you can identify and remove them from your life once and for all. The first big mistake is placing the sofa with its back to the door. At first glance, it may seem practical or unimportant, but in Feng Shui it's considered a very strong blockage. When the main seat of the living room turns its back to the entrance, it's as if you are unconsciously turning your back on the opportunities that want to enter your life. Energetically, this creates a feeling of insecurity. The person sitting never sees who is coming in, and that discomfort turns into a constant state of alert, even without realizing it. This tension translates into fatigue, family arguments without cause, and an unconscious resistance to prosperity. Imagine for a moment a guest entering your house and finding everyone sitting with their backs to him, without even greeting or acknowledging him. The energy of that visit is immediately cut off, and that's exactly what happens with the opportunities life wants to offer you. The solution is to move the sofa into what Feng Shui calls the command position. This means arranging it so you can see the door from a comfortable diagonal angle without sitting directly in front of it. If your space doesn't allow this, you can create support by placing a console table, a screen, or even a solid piece of furniture behind it. This small adjustment instantly shifts the energy. Your living room feels safer and more inviting. The atmosphere lightens, and gradually new opportunities and prosperity begin to flow into your life. The second obstacle is having clocks that don't work. They might be hanging on the wall as decoration or placed on a piece of furniture. But a stopped clock symbolizes that time has also stopped in your home. In Feng Shui, a motionless clock represents stagnation. Projects don't move forward, opportunities are delayed, and life seems stuck halfway. Energetically, it's as if every day repeats itself without allowing anything new to flow into your life. On a family level, that energy often feels like exhaustion, repetitive arguments, or the sense that nothing improves. Tara remembered she had a clock in her living room that hadn't worked for months. Every time she looked at it without realizing it, her mind absorbed that sense of stillness and blockage. The same happens in many homes. This small detail works as an invisible anchor stopping prosperity. The solution is simple. If you want to keep the clock, change the battery and make sure it always works. If you don't use it anymore, it's best to remove it completely. Also, choose a strategic place for it. A clock in the living room should be placed on a side wall, never directly in front of the door or above the sofa, to avoid tension. With this change, energy begins to move again. The family feels more dynamic and prosperity finds its way back. The third obstacle is damaged walls with cracks or damp stains. Sometimes we get used to seeing them and let time pass, thinking they're just aesthetic details. But in Feng Shui, they represent energy leaks that directly affect prosperity and stability. A cracked wall symbolizes instability, as if the foundation of your life were fractured. Dampness or stains, meanwhile, reflect stagnant energy that accumulates and rots, affecting not only the flow of money, but also the emotional health of those living in the home. On a family level, this often shows up as constant worry, insecurity, and repeated arguments about money. Picture living in a home where a crack on the wall is always in sight, never repaired. Even if you ignore it, your mind quietly absorbs the message that something is broken and unresolved. Over time, that silent reminder chips away at your confidence in the future. The solution is not just to cover up the problem. It's important to repair the crack or moisture at the root. Then repaint, preferably in warm or neutral tones that transmit stability. Don't try to hide them with pictures or ornaments because the damaged energy will remain there. By repairing the walls, the living room regains solidity, the family feels more secure, and abundance begins to flow with greater stability. Another common mistake in the living room has to do with mirrors. At first glance, they seem harmless, even elegant. But in Feng Shui, they're not just decorations, they're energy portals capable of multiplying what they reflect. And if they're placed in the wrong spot, they can become a true leak of prosperity. When a mirror reflects the main door, all the positive energy entering your home bounces right back outside, as if abundance arrived but refused to stay. And when it directly reflects a window, the energy disperses instead of concentrating, which causes instability both in finances and family life. The result is a constant feeling of unease, as if nothing ever settles in your life. The solution: never place a large mirror directly opposite the main door or where it reflects a window. Instead, use it as an ally. Position it where it reflects a healthy plant, a lit lamp, or a positive image. That way, instead of dispersing prosperity, the mirror will multiply it, filling the living room with vitality and wealth. The fifth obstacle is having photos of deceased family members in the living room. Keeping them there may seem like a gesture of respect and love, but in Feng Shui, the living room should be a place of vitality, movement, and joy, not a space charged with memories of loss. When the images of loved ones who have passed away occupy a central spot in the living room, the energy becomes melancholic and heavy, and that ends up extinguishing the lightness and prosperity of the home. It's as if life gets anchored in the past, preventing new opportunities and blessings from entering with strength. Tara remembered that in a friend's house, the living room was filled with black and white portraits of deceased relatives. Every time they gathered there, the atmosphere felt solemn, almost as if they were in a shrine instead of a space to enjoy. That dense energy not only affected the mood but also the feeling of economic and family progress. Honoring our loved ones is very important, but the ideal place to do so is a quiet corner, an altar, or an intimate space in the home. In the living room, however, it is recommended to place photos that convey life, joy, and family unity. Images of trips, celebrations, or happy moments. This way, the energy of the living room remains light, vibrant, and open to prosperity. The last obstacle is not an object, but a habit that leaves a deep mark on the energy of the living room. Arguing in this space. The living room is the heart of the home, the place where harmony should reign. But when it becomes the scene of fights or tense conversations, its energy becomes infused with those negative vibrations. In Feng Shui, words spoken in anger leave a trace that remains as if the walls absorbed the argument. That invisible imprint makes the atmosphere feel heavy and, over time, leads to fatigue, distrust, and a blockage of prosperity. Because where there is constant tension, abundance can hardly find space to manifest. Try to keep the living room reserved for positive togetherness, light conversation, and family unity. If a conflict arises, move it to a more private space, and afterwards ventilate the living room or light a gentle fragrance to cleanse the vibrations. With this simple habit, the atmosphere stays fresh, relationships strengthen, and prosperity finds fertile ground to grow. As you can see, most of these obstacles are so common that we often don't even notice them. However, when they remain in our living room, they gradually drain prosperity and family harmony. The good news is that by identifying and correcting them, you open the way for positive energy to flow strongly again in your home. Now I want you to write in the comments this powerful affirmation. My living room is free of blockages and open to abundance. That way, you'll be reinforcing your decision to transform your home starting right now. And if this content has been useful to you so far, don't forget to give this video a like and share it with someone you want to see prosper. This way, you help more people discover these secrets and also transform the energy of their home. And now get ready, because what comes next is even more powerful. As I promised, you're going to discover a very special object that, when placed in the right spot in your living room, can transform it into a true magnet of wealth and opportunities. And you'll also learn a simple ritual to activate it and multiply its effects. That very special object I mentioned is the abundance jar. At first glance, it may seem like just a simple ornament, but in reality, it holds enormous power. Its purpose is not to attract money from the outside, but something much more valuable: to conserve it and multiply it within your home. In classical Feng Shui, it is considered a symbol of secure accumulation, like a small vault that protects your wealth and gives it long-term stability. The most powerful thing about the jar is that it isn't bought ready-made. You create it yourself, and that's why it becomes such a deeply personal object. Its ideal shape is rounded with a small mouth and wide body, because this symbolizes that abundance enters but does not escape. The most recommended materials are ceramic or glass, always with a firm lid, because what's inside must remain protected. It doesn't need to be large. Even a small jar can become a magnet of prosperity if prepared with the right intention. And what do we place inside? Here's where the jar becomes unique. Start with clean, shiny coins to represent real, stable value. Add cinnamon sticks or aromatic spices that have been used since ancient times to attract prosperity and cleanse energy. Also place some small crystals, such as citrine or clear quartz, which enhance clarity and good fortune. Along with this, take a piece of paper and write by hand a positive affirmation in the present tense, such as, "Wealth flows into my life constantly and abundantly." That little paper at the bottom becomes the seed that activates all the jar's energy. If you wish, you can also add a small personal object that brings you good memories, something that symbolizes luck or success in your life. It's important not to overfill it. The jar should breathe and give you a sense of calm, not overwhelm. Every time you see it, it should remind you of serenity, trust, and fullness. Only then does it fulfill its mission of helping you accumulate prosperity with peace and stability. And where should you place it? According to Feng Shui, the most powerful location is the southeast corner of your living room, because that's the area associated with wealth and material growth. If you don't know the orientation, simply place it in a quiet corner, well lit, and away from strong drafts like doors and windows. Do not put it in the kitchen, bathroom, or under a staircase, because in those places energy disperses. And an important detail, always place it at waist height or lower, because wealth accumulates from the base upward. The best part is that you don't need a complicated ritual to activate it. Just by preparing it with your intention, it already begins to work with you. The only thing you must do is care for it with love. Each week, gently clean the outside and thank it for the prosperity it is protecting for you. With that gesture, you not only keep the jar's energy alive, you also train your mind to think and act like an abundant person. And when your awareness changes, the reality around you changes too. If you want to further enhance the jar's energy, you can perform a simple activation ritual the first time you prepare it. Choose a quiet moment without interruptions. Place the jar in front of you and light a green or golden candle, symbols of growth and abundance. As the flame burns, hold the jar with both hands and clearly repeat an affirmation such as, "This jar preserves and multiplies my wealth, my stability, and my peace." Imagine each word being engraved inside it. When you finish, close the lid and let the candle burn a little longer as a sign that your intention has been sealed. From that moment, your jar will be activated and ready to become a guardian of your prosperity. And while the abundance jar is already a powerful tool to attract and safeguard prosperity, there are a few simple habits that will keep the energy of your living room alive and flowing like a river that never stops. First, Let fresh air in every morning. Just a few minutes of open windows is enough to sweep away stagnant energy and fill the space with vitality, creating a light atmosphere where abundance feels welcome. Second, care for the scents. Once a week, light a cinnamon incense stick or diffuse a few drops of citrus essential oil. These fragrances awaken energy, uplift the mood, and open the path for new opportunities. And third, keep a warm light on in the evening, even if it's just a small lamp. Light carries prosperity and prevents the energy of your living room from switching off at night. Think of it as a beacon, reminding abundance that this home is open and receptive. If you apply these tips along with the abundance jar and remove the blockages from your living room, you will not only see how your finances stabilize and grow, but also feel more harmony and peace in your home. It's the perfect combination for prosperity to stay with you and multiply day after day. Remember, what you've learned today is not superstition or coincidence. It's a conscious way of aligning the energy of your home with abundance. Feng Shui teaches us that when we take care of the spaces we live in, we are also taking care of our mind, our emotions, and our future. And the living room, as the heart of the home, is the starting point for prosperity and family peace to flow without obstacles. Now write this powerful affirmation in the comments. My living room radiates prosperity, unity, and limitless abundance. By doing this, you'll be sealing your commitment to this change and reinforcing the energy you've just activated in your life. And if this video has inspired you, give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of the upcoming rituals and teachings I'll be sharing with you. And finally, share it with someone who also deserves to transform their home into a magnet of wealth and harmony. With that simple gesture, you help more people discover these secrets and multiply their prosperity. Thank you for being here and opening yourself to this wisdom. Remember, abundance begins within you and is reflected in every corner of your home. See you in the next video. See you soon.